Yeah, please. Here she comes.
Well, I'm just,
Call this meeting of the Owen County Plan Commission to order. First item of business is a pledge of allegiance. Would you stand and face the flag and repeat the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you. Would you please do roll call, Heather?
Amy Meyer.
here.
Kenneth Sebastian.
Here.
Bill Purcell.
Here.
Donna McIntyre.
Here.
Daniel Browning.
Here.
Chad Van Ryn.
Here.
Norman Warner.
Yep. Okay, thank you. You have before you the minutes of the May 20th and June 30th meeting. Are there any additions or correction to the minutes?
Not that I see.
Is a motion to approve both sets?
Second.
Both sets? Approving both sets? Is a second? Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. In the issuance of time, I would like to do the new business first and get the rezone. I think that'll be the shortest time consumer we've got this evening. So we have before you, before us, a rezone application. Let me,
Do they have a speaker out there that they can hear what's being conducted in here?
they do not.
Can you speak up a little bit? I'm hard of hearing, I'm hardly hearing you, sound like a whisper.
Well, I got a microphone here in my face.
Well, sorry, sir, but the APA says I gotta be able to hear you.
Can I address them for a second out there?
Yes, you may.
Dan, Chad, can you just flip
Hey!
those microphones on?
They started talking, and unfortunately, there's no speaker out here for you guys to hear. But what am I listening to out there? Okay. All right, so
Is it not working?
they have a very small speaker. They're on microphones. If you can watch watch on YouTube, I guess, but try to, I mean, we're having trouble hearing even in the room. So, they're gonna do the rezoning first.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The Plan Commission meeting will be one request for rezoning. These requests are typically termed amendment to the zoning map or rezoning. In consideration of these requests, the Plan Commission shall pay reasonable regard to 1, the comprehensive plan, 2, the current condition and character of the current structures and uses in each district, the most desirable use on which the land in which each district is adapted, the conservation of property values through the jurisdiction, and responsible development and growth. Pursuant to Indiana Code 36-7-6-604, before a Plan Commission certifies a proposal to the legislative body, the Plan Commission must hold a public hearing. The Plan Commission shall give notice of the hearing by publication under Indiana Code 5-3-1. This notice must state the time and place of the hearing and the geographic area that is subject to the zone map change. This notice does not require the identification of any real property by meets and bounds. A description of the proposed changes in the zone maps, the place where a copy of the proposal is on file for examination before the hearing, the written objections to the proposal that are filed with the Secretary of the Commission before the hearing will be considered. The oral comments concerning the proposal will be heard, but the hearing shall be continued from time to time as may be found necessary. The Plan Commission shall also provide for due notice of interested parties at least 10 days before the set date of the hearing. Owners of real property to adapt the two ownerships must receive notice. The hearing must be held in the Plan Commission at the place stated in the notice. The files of the Plan Commission concerning proposal are public records and should be kept available at the Commission's office for inspection by any interested party. Pursuant to IC 36-7-4-605, a proposal to change the zone maps may be certified with 1, a favorable recommendation, 2, an unfavorable recommendation, or 3, no recommendation. The legislative body shall consider the recommendations, if any, of the Plan Commission before acting on this proposal. All those things have been met, correct?
Yes.
Heather, you've sent out notices.
Yes.
So this meeting is open for this rezone that we have. This property's off of Little Flock Road. And we have some people who asked to speak.
Bill,
So,
call a public hearing.
oh, I'm calling for a public hearing. I'm sorry, I'm new to this. That wasn't on my script. So this is a public hearing. We will give you 3 minutes to tell us for or against and why you're for or against. So the first one signed up was Randy Ham. So Randy, if you'll come up here.
Randy, turn that microphone on if you don't mind so people can hear you. Just push the button. Yeah. To the right, it'll turn red. Should anyway.
I think we got to turn it on.
Oh, do we? Okay.
Yes,
Let's
okay.
speak loud then.
Okay, I'll start.
I think if you turn that one off, there we go. There we go.
It's close.
Closer. I've seen the layout of the proposed rezoning of the farm, and it's across the road from me. My biggest issue with it is they can't hook on the city water. If they're gonna have to have a well and a septic, they don't have enough acreage for most of them. What they've got it divided down to is some of them down to less than 1.5 acres, and that is not enough. It needs to be at least 5 acres, I'd say, to accommodate a well and a septic. So, and all the timber has been basically cut off, so it all runs my way. All the water, when it rains, comes my way. And with all them houses, up to 50, the way it looks like 50 houses is going to be on my property. Everything runs down to me. So that's my biggest issue with it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Randy. Sandra Cunningham?
As far as that goes. As far as that goes.
First, I'd like to thank you all for your time this evening, and I also would like to thank everybody who showed up tonight for this rezoning. I live on Little Flock Road, and I respectfully request that you vote unfavorable for the recommendation that the ABCH investment rezone be approved from agricultural to single-family residential. I am absolutely against the entrance exit to the future plan proposal Owen Hill subdivision being on Little Flock Road. The enormous negative impact of a potential increase of 90 additional vehicles on Little Flock Road coming and going daily will increase traffic wrecks, serious injuries, and possibly fatalities. Little Flock Road is a curvy, dangerous, and narrow road. The increased traffic will deteriorate the existing road even more. The additional noise and pollution that comes with the extra daily traffic will negatively impact the surrounding community and nature. This will permanently ruin the peaceful, quiet life that Little Flock residents currently enjoy. The future plan proposal shows plenty of road frontage on State Road 43. The entrance exit to this subdivision should be on State Road 43. Over by one of the members of the ABCJH Investment LLC group, they have everything to gain from this subdivision, so let them reap what they sow. I am not opposed to change and growth in Owen County, but let that change and growth blend in with the community and be positively embraced by the community, not screwing over the existing community for future people's financial gain. Surely, the Owen County Board Planning and the Owen County Commissioners can see the negative impact that this will have on Little Flock Road community. I am trusting that you will do what is right for the existing residents on Little Flock Road. Perhaps you can deny the rezoning request now and suggest that ABCJH Investments LLC Group try again and present a future plan proposal with fewer lots and the entrance exit being on State Road 43. Maybe then the current residents in the area affected would be more receptive to this type of development. I have no doubt that there is some kind of mutually beneficial compromise can be reached with your expert guidance and fair attention to this matter.
Your time's up, but thank you. Roger Daniel?
He's out there. He's
How you all, Roger?
Roger Daniel, front and center.
Yeah.
My seat is available for anybody else.
Yes. I will.
Roger Daniel, I live on 43 in
You'll sit down and be heard better there, Roger.
As close to the mic as you can, sir.
Pardon me?
As close to the
Oh,
mic as
okay.
you can.
Appreciate you taking the time. You've got a crowd out there. We need housing in Clay Township. I think it would have been better if some people would have coordinated. There is a township meeting night to look over the budget. And this addition that they're talking about very definitely affects what the township government can do and cannot do. And taxpayers are very concerned about taxes going up. The addition that what little I have gained on it definitely needs an entrance onto 43. It needs to have the egress acceleration line, in other words, added along 43, which is somewhat required. A second entrance, I don't like additions that have one entrance when there's a possibility of a second one. But I don't want the main entrance to go out and disturb Little Flock, because that one's already heavy traveled, I think. But we need to look at this thing and see what they want to do, and before we approve any of it, have them oppose or make a proposal to you people, or whoever needs to stain or change, and in other words, establish some requirements of how this addition goes in. And I agree there is no septic. That ground is not going to be kind to septic, so you got to have alternate sites. Also, the water system is low volume in the area. So I want you just to look at it very carefully, because we do need housing in Clay Township, and we are close to Bloomington, so there's a lot of workers that are looking for a place. So thank you, and we need to get some things figured out first.
Thank you, Roger. I hope I pronounced this name right. Mike Seward? Seward. Thank you. Sorry.
So a little fact, I was the first Plan Commission president. A little fact, I was the first Plan Commission president. And we had opposition to a lot of growth issues in the Plan Commission back in the early 2000s. And this proposal fails everything that was in the spirit of what we tried to do when we started the Plan Commission. The density is too significant for the area. The sewer system, I don't know what the developer's thinking, if they thought this was in Bloomington and they just transposed it to come into Owen County. But you take 40 plus wells on 100 acres and you're going to deplete the water supply for most of the homes around there. To figure 100 gallons a day just for the basics. Also, when we did the Plan Commission back in the early days, we had a common sense approach that if there's a fire, we have to have a certain distance between the properties. The distances between the properties in this plan create a fire risk for the county, both from the ability to fight a single fire, but also from the ability that will set other homes on fire or other outbuildings. From a septic standpoint, you have to have two, and several of these lots are way under what needs to be done. In my daily life, I'm a risk manager, and there's a whole lot of risk with this program. I am glad I don't live next to it, but I'm supporting my neighbors that I hope you vote no to this project, and it needs to go to the drawing board. Also, it needs to be rerouted that it's on 43 with an acceleration and deceleration lane. Plus, we need some assurances from the owners that are developing this that when the wells that are drilled don't provide water, what are the homeowners going to do when they don't have a well that produces? Are you willing to rezone this to the point that people don't have water? It's a question to consider. But overall, this needs to go back to the drawing board and redone to provide less of an impact to the area, both from a sanitation, water supply, and drainage. Because what we have now is a disaster waiting to happen, especially for him that's right downwind or downhill from where the runoff would go. And I'd hate to see my neighbors impacted from this poorly designed plan. How much time do I have?
46.
40.
So I guess, in summary, let's talk with the developers, find out what their goal is, and redo it to the point that it's amicable to everyone. Another thing that needs to be considered is, how are the school buses going to turn around in this subdivision? I looked at the drawing, and I don't know, are we going to have the kids hanging out on Little Flock or on 43, which both are horrible ideas, and the county can't even keep Little Flock in place. So how is this going to impact the infrastructure that we have? That's another consideration I need you to do. So at that point, let's get them to redo it, and we'll be back in a couple months with a new plan. Hopefully they hear us.
Thank you. Mark Britt.
For the sake of brevity and not being too redundant, I think most of what I think has been said, that growth in our area is going to be inevitable. People want to come out and experience Owen County. It's a beautiful place to live. We have a fine support system of neighbors and people. My concerns of this are relating to LE. We don't have enough law enforcement for this kind of growth out there. We are stretched pretty thin now. Fire Station 16 is not currently able to sustain this for fire protection. The hydrants it's just not going to be there. Getting water to a fire is currently a problem. It's just going to get worse, and it can't support this kind of a housing situation. If the water is going to come, city water from Eastern Green or wherever that's going to be, we're going to have a plan in place that is known to all of us to support what's coming. I grew up in Greenwood. I've lived out here for 40 years. I'm still a transplant, and I'm okay with transplants coming in. They're welcome here. But we have to be able to provide for them and for the people that have been here for 100 years to know that their home is not going to change, that their way of life is not going to change, or be severely altered, I should say. Of course, it's going to change. But it has to be in a way, and the UDO talks about keeping it, sustaining a current standard. And this current proposal does not maintain that current standard. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather Wagoner? She may be out. Oh.
Hello. Thanks for hearing me. My concern is I live right on that curve. We already have people who drive way too fast there on Little Flock that end up in my yard, they end up in her area. We've had people flip their cars. A lot of accidents don't get reported because it's a single car accident, no injuries, so they just call tow truck to have the tow truck come flip their car over and take off with it. I bought the home back in 23, and I think I've seen 4 accidents just right there on that curve. Our road cannot handle this traffic. I'm concerned, is this going to be a low-income housing subdivision? Because if so, I'm not saying it will, but it can increase the crime rate. Right now, I, for the most part, think Little Flock's pretty safe. We don't have to worry about too much. We can't let this happen. Worried about the water issue, the sewer. It's not good. Thank you.
Dustin Duncan?
He's outside. Dustin Duncan?
Good evening. My name is Dustin Duncan. I am an 8-year Marine Corps veteran from Owen County. There's a lot of problems that I'm not going to hit on, some of the ones that they've already been hit on. But I do put in these subdivisions in Indianapolis, and I know the problems they can cause through water, sewer, and storm. Water runoff and drainage concerns. This could dramatically affect natural landscape, increasing impervious surfaces such as roads, driveways, and rooftops. This would significantly increase water runoff to adjacent properties, creeks, drainage basins. Residents along Little Flock Road already experience seasonal flooding. The additional runoff from a high-density subdivision would likely exacerbate the problem. Without comprehensive stormwater management plan, including retention ponds, swales, and long-term maintenance assurances, local ecosystems and neighboring lands may face erosion and water damage. We've talked about the contamination of wells. This is going on top of one of the highest points in Owen County, and every bit of it's going to run down to the 20 acres that I have directly connected to it. And for everybody else around me that has well water, the same issue will arise. Also with the caves that are under there that have not been checked. Many nearby residents draw water from shallow wells, which are especially vulnerable to contamination from failing overburdened septic systems. Owen County soil conditions vary widely and may not be conducive to handling this level of septic waste without extensive engineered solutions that have not been publicly disclosed or assessed. Preserving the rural character of Owen County. One of the defining qualities of Owen County is its quiet rural character, the reason many of us choose to live here. The high-density development of this scale is incompatible with the surrounding agricultural, low-density residential land use. Such a project risks setting a precedent that could lead to further sprawl, eroding the rural landscape and the community identity we've worked so hard to preserve. Noise pollution. You're going to add 45 lots that are going to have daily traffic, construction activities, HVAC systems, lawn equipment, and general human activity. This disruption would severely diminish the rural serenity that defines this part of Owen County and may impact wildlife as well. Unlike urban areas where high noise levels are expected, rural zoning should prioritize low noise environments. Once introduced, noise pollution is difficult to reverse and will alter the character of the area permanently. The neighboring lands also, just like mine, will almost become unhuntable. These activities are not only for cultural tradition, but also the significant means of wildlife management and local food sourcing. The construction of these lots will bring increased human presence, traffic noise, pet activity, all of which will deter game species from traditional movement corridors and bedding areas. This directly reduces the viability of the surrounding land for legal and ethical hunting. And introducing a high-density residential subdivision near established hunting ground creates safety conflicts.
Your time's up. We understand your point, but your time's up.
Thank you.
Brian Yateman? Brian Yateman? Hi, I'm Brian Yateman. I've lived on Little Flock for 45 years, and I've seen a lot of growth, but nothing to consider what's going to happen. One thing is safety. If you're going to build them many houses, you're going to double the cars, you're going to have 90-some vehicles added to that road that's so narrow and falling apart anyway. The residents, we don't want it. It's not good for the area, and just like the man was saying about all the caves and all the neighbors, it's just not a very good idea to be throwing something like that on Little Flock. And then that's all I've got to say. Thank you. Chris Ercola? Did I pronounce that right? No. I'm sorry.
So, thank you. I live on 7142 Little Flock Road, which is directly across from where the suggested entrance is. And I want to bring up two main points today. One is kind of surrounding Indiana Code 3223-5-2, known as the Uniform Conservation Easement Act. Indiana Code 32-23-5-2, known as the Uniform Conservation Easement Act. It states that the basis for non-possessory establishment of a conservation easement can be made based on any of the following criteria. 1, retaining or protecting natural scenic or open space values of real property. 2, assuring availability of the real property for agricultural, forest, recreational, or open space use. 3, protecting natural resources. 4, maintaining or enhancing air or water quality. Or 5, preserving the historical, architectural, archaeological, or cultural aspects of real property. I feel like multiple of these points lead to the forest surrounding the pond on that easement being essential to the local water supply and the local culture. Last month on July 17th, heavy rainfall caused a portion of State Road 43 to close due to flash flooding. The removal of trees uphill from this area within the suggested development zone will prevent flood mitigation that currently is provided by that forest. The dense network of roots of the trees provide increased soil infiltration for the water. Reducing these has the potential to increase flash flooding. This past month, water reached approximately 658 feet in elevation. Just above that is 7487 Little Flock Road, which rests on the corner of State Road 43 and Little Flock. We are risking increased flooding by decreasing the forest and tree cover in this area. Additionally, there are significant implications to wildlife species. There are endangered species in the area, such as barn owls, which have been heard noticeable by their screech-like calls, and eastern box turtles, which we've seen in our yard, that likely use the pond and the ephemeral streams covered in this area as habitat. The amphibians and the spring peepers in the area let us know that our water supply is safe. Amphibians are commonly used as a bioindicator. They die from heavy metals, harsh chemicals, and pesticides. So having them present not only lets us enjoy our environment, but lets us know that we are safe to continue to drink our water.
Your time is up. Thank you. Aaron Hayes.
Members of the board, good evening. I live at the lower side of where this proposed site is. And I wanted to explain that I moved from Mooresville with my two daughters, 10 and 2, to get an opportunity to allow them to have horses, to grow, to see and enjoy the things that I grew up with as a young boy. Now, I am a transplant and am new to the area, but I have enjoyed getting the opportunity to meet the members that are on Little Flock Road. And I ask and implore you to decline this, because it will affect, as those members have said previously, it will affect our water, it will affect our drainage, it will affect our sewage, it will affect the everyday life that we already have. I've currently already noticed that they're currently timbering that area. Has that been approved to be done? Who pays for that road to be taken care of off of Little Flock? Those are things that I'm concerned about because I have little children and dogs that like to play in the front yard. So those are things that are really valuable to me, and this proposed site is going to increase some drastic things, and I'm not okay with it. And I ask that you look at yourselves and look in your hearts and do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Rachel Hendricks. Maybe she's outside.
Henry's outside. Rachel Henry.
Are you going to vote on this tonight or table it for another meeting?
I don't know what we'll do. I mean, it's up for us to vote. Someone could move to table, but I don't.
You haven't heard a single favorable response.
Is there anybody here representing that group tonight?
We'll try to hear Rachel and then hear you if that's okay.
What was the name again?
Rachel
Hendricks.
Rachel Henry.
She is inclined to speak.
And then anyone else
She doesn't
out
want
there
to
that wants
Is there anybody else to speak besides the owner?
for rezone.
State your name, please.
My name's Mel Hedrick. I live at 7242 Little Flock, directly across the road. I grew up in Indiana. Unfortunately, I got transferred to a lot of large cities through my career. When I retired, I decided I wanted to come back home. Well, where I grew up is unrecognizable now because of all they call it progress, but it's not what I'm looking for. So found a place out here in Owen County. Love my place. I try to keep it up well. And I have a lot of concerns about this piece of property being used for what they're wanting to do. There is going to be environmental impacts. I looked at the plans on this, and they're not putting in septic for every house. They're planning on providing septic for every house that's in there. So their fields in that area are going to be huge. And we're going to be getting a lot of people in the area or moving into those places that aren't going to understand what you're supposed to put down your drain and what you're not. And a lot of that septic system it has to be huge for 45 places. And the other thing is, and this was brought up several times, with no city water out there, and they're not going to get any out there, there's no way that they're not going to drastically affect the aquifer out there. The other thing is, the outlet on Little Flock is being placed up at the top of that large hill, just above myself and some of the other neighbors. And in the wintertime, you can't get up and down that hill. And Owen County doesn't have the equipment to be able to take care of that. Those people would be landlocked at that point. And there's several times throughout the winter that I end up going down there assisting people that are stuck at that hill. And now you're going to bring in an additional 90 cars or so. And the accidents that will occur from that entrance, it's just downright dangerous. If you do approve this, there has to be an entrance and exit off of 43. Now, they don't want to deal with the state. That's why they didn't go out that direction, which would have been much easier for them. So, with that, the last thing I have is values of the homes that they're going to put in there. My time's up. Thank you.
Any other person to speak besides, state your name, please.
My name is Stephanie Morgan. I live at 7142 Little Flock, directly across from the forest that Chris spoke about earlier. I think it should be mentioned as well, somebody else brought up that they are already working on that land, and I'm not sure that they've gotten the permits for that, so I think that that needs to be looked at. Something else I want to talk about is pests. A lot of us are familiar with lady beetles, bomb-rated stink bug, all of our regular garden pests, all these invasive species that are getting in our houses.
Honey, can you hold on a minute? They got us, like to stop. Hold on a minute.
We got so much noise outside.
Sure.
I stopped the time. Let me go out.
Sure.
Hey, quiet down, it's getting too loud out here. Is that good enough?
You're hired.
Sure. It is really important for this area that we have a biodiverse ecosystem, and the forest across the street and that pond is a really important part of that. If we don't have a biodiverse ecosystem, we run the risk of getting run rampant with these invasive species. And it's not just the bugs, there's also plant species that are in the area. I'm sure you guys have seen the devastation of the Callery pears in Bloomington. Callery pears are in the area. There are plenty of grasses, Dallas grass, Japanese stilt grass, etc. Burning bush, honeysuckle bush and vine. These things disrupt the ecosystem, and when we have a construction in place, it creates devastation to the land that needs to be done carefully. We need native trees planted in this area, we need native plants planted in this area. The plan for this housing development says that disturbed land is going to get 6 inches of topsoil, and then it's going to be seeded. For what? Grass? This is not going to be good enough for the plants and animals that are already in the area. It's not just our homes as people, it is also the fauna in the area. And I think that we have a responsibility as humans, as land stewards in Owen County, to pay attention to this. I think that you have not heard a single favorable argument, and that it would be a shame to vote in favor of this and to not make them go back to the drawing board. This can be done right. It needs to be done right. And you guys have the power to hold them accountable to that. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, my name is John Schrock, Morgan Township. In reference to this, no, I don't like, I like all the words that I've heard tonight. I think the citizens have all spoken up well and responsibly. The only thing we have to deal with is, I believe, from looking at the documents that I received from Heather, that land has been purchased by owners. The owners are going to want to do something sometime. If they can come together in a compromise, there may be a situation that works. We can't stop growth. We can slow it down, is all we can do. To some of the concerns, the sustainability, the animals, all of that, those are things that are good to be taken care of. But we need someone in the county to have a group to kind of watch over that in general for the whole county. One thing I sent in was a letter to the building department. My biggest concern was, is the land in the comprehensive plan area for subdivisions? I have since heard from someone that it is not. Therefore, at most, it could be tabled and considered at a later date once some of these other suggestions are taken up and looked over by the subdividers. And still give them a hope to get some return on their investment, because we have to be concerned about their investments too. Otherwise, life gets ugly. And that's all I have.
Anyone else? Yes, Franklin? You're kind of in the hot seat.
Good evening. My name's Chelsea Moss. I'm with Abram Moss Design Group, and we are the design engineers hired for this project. A lot of the comments and concerns that I've heard tonight are not as relevant to the rezone as they will be to the subdivision application. At this point, what you have in front of you is a schematic of what we're looking at. This is the initial draft of getting lots and configurations with topography and see what we could get on here to see feasibility at first. The first step in our process, though, is to rezone this property in order to get the lots configured this way. I feel that the rezone is favorable for this location in that it is in line with surrounding properties. If you look to the north of this, most of those properties on Little Flock Road are showing up as single-family residential. They're in line with this zone. Generally, you look at the zoning map and rezones, and you're looking to make continuity over areas. You know, get the same color in groups and not have little pockets. And we're not asking for a pocket of single-family residential. We're asking to expand that single-family residential that's already along Little Flock down south. A lot of the concerns with septic and lot sizes, road configurations, access points, those will all be addressed during the subdivision process, but we can't even start down the design, the detailed design of that, until we know that we can rezone it. So the rezone tonight, which I trust that the board understands, the rezone doesn't approve the subdivision, and that's not what we're looking for tonight. It's setting us up so that we can continue this process and work through all of those details to bring more homes to the area. We have taken preliminary looks at where we would address drainage concerns. We will have to conform to the construction stormwater general permit from IDEM, which will require us to meet stormwater runoff, meaning each storm will have to match on peak runoff from a 2-year or a 100%, 50%, 2% storm. Those will have to match pre and post. We are including roundabouts at the end of our roads in line with the ordinance, and we have had conversations with the county highway department on the access point. But all of those things won't be finalized until we go through the full subdivision process. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board has.
Can you answer a question from the gallery?
That will be up to,
Okay, you said that your company, all of this stuff is yet to be laid out. But why did you go to such an extent of laying out what you did lay out and present to the Owen County Board? Why did you not present do your research and be more thorough so that you presented something that was more acceptable to the community.
You are talking the difference of about 5 hours versus probably 100+ hours of work.
You guys are already
So-
working on the land, so if you're gonna interrupt all of the things there, spend the 110 hours to do the research.
Yeah. I mean, look what you're doing to all of our lives if they vote for you, and then we're like at your mercy that you're gonna change something. I would have, done the work ahead of time and presented your best foot forward.
You got your question answered. I got other people's questions.
I have a question.
So for the developer, how are you going to handle septic? Are you going to have a forced main system into a central septic, a package plant, or individual septic?
Septics will be individual on each lot. Per state law, we need a minimum of 1 acre, and we will need 50-foot separation from any well.
Why does corporate Karen get more than 3 minutes?
Yeah.
We've heard what she has to say.
She's the only favorable voice.
Yeah.
We've had
She
60
doesn't even live there.
Yeah.
That's
3
the
minutes is up.
question, is she going to live?
We're
on
here,
the-
she's here to answer your questions.
And she had 3 minutes to answer it.
I would suggest that you don't vote on it, that you scrap it, forget about their investment. Nobody asked them to come in and take over our communities, building new homes for the future generations to come 100 years from now. We will deal with that with our generations to come forth. Until then,
Sir,
scrap it.
you had a question?
Growth is inevitable, it's gonna happen, but I don't like how this has been laid out. I agree with you. We need a better proposal laid up front. What's the median price of the homes that you're anticipating there?
The developer is anticipating homes in the $300,000 to $400,000 range.
So, what's the average size of your lot there?
I'm not sure on the average, but we're ranging from about 1 1/4 up to, I believe, 5.
Well, I would encourage the board to have you guys do a little more research, be able to answer these specific questions. We've got fire, we've got LE, we've got sanitation, we've got runoff, environmental impact. We would like to see the results of those studies, and I don't know that that calls for a rezone before you can tell us what we can look forward to.
Okay, question back there.
Were you guys planning on widening Little Flock and taking out that curve? Because honestly, if we lived on that curve, I don't feel like I want to stick around and walk on the island there.
That is not something that the county highway department had brought up in current discussions.
Willing to sell it.
Okay. Back there. I'll
She's
get
got
you in a
it.
minute. I see you down there. I'll just,
I have a comment. I live close to the Eel River floodplain, and there are places out where I live that would not be suitable for any kind of housing because of that. And I'm going to recommend, even though I'm not part of that group, that you guys go find a different place to put your stuff, because that is not a safe place for Indiana residents, the wildlife, or the county. You need to find a flat place that has good drainage and access to county roads before you come in and try to put a subdivision in a place that is not ecologically feasible.
I would just like to know where she's going to live at, or one of these people, the members of this organization who's going to live in these $400,000 homes. Are you going to be at the end of the cul-de-sac and come out on Little Flock, and how are you going to get up over the hill when you come out? I mean, if you're going to put it in, if you're a neighbor of ours, then you should live with us and deal with our septic and our water. Are you going to be a neighbor?
No, I can't live in every subdivision I work on.
So, ma'am, I got a question for you. In your subdivision, how many of your homes are you going to make ADA acceptable for all handicapped people in this county?
I'll have to turn to my
I
developer.
can't hear you, ma'am. Speak up.
I will have to turn to the developer on that.
Who's the developer? All right, answer the question. It'll be depending on the market value, but we will have handicap. No, market value has nothing to do with it when it comes to handicapped people. You're totally aware of the federal ADA.
okay.
So I'm a disabled American veteran, and if I choose to buy a house out there, which I probably won't for that type of gas and price, I expect work to meet all ADA.
Okay. Got someone else to speak.
Most of the time when a rezoning comes into place, they present something for the people that are here in favor or against. All I've heard is, let's rezone first and then we'll figure out the problems later. That's going to be a cost to these people because it's them that it's affecting. Otherwise, she would have presented a very good plan of every question that has been answered here. And I see no plans here and none on your desk. So they have not done any due diligence to answer these questions for these individuals here.
Yes. Developers, have you learned anything tonight? Is anything you're taking away from this something you can address?
Sir, I've addressed it to someone to speak. Please try to maintain order.
Comment on the ADA. I don't think there's a state in the U.S. that has ADA requirements for single-family homes.
Well, yes, there is. You need to look up the federal ADA.
Well, we can disagree.
We can disagree all the time.
Okay, that's a different issue.
Yeah, you got it.
I got her.
All right, may I speak now?
Yes, Planning Commission.
So first and foremost, and I'll just say it straight out, the comprehensive plan did not have this property anywhere near development. This was agricultural on the map that we just passed 2 years ago, okay? This was not a place that we were going to look at for a development. That's number one. Number two, Little Flock is a horrible road to try to dump cars on, especially school buses, when you got people that speed everywhere in Owen County, and they do. Number three, we just had a flash flood down there on 43 that completely closed the road. And now if we put houses up there with yards and things, it's going to come down that hill and it's going to add to the problem. And we would like to not do that. Now I know there's mitigation processes, but I have to see them before I'll ever rezone anything. Lay of the land, I just explained that. Well and septic, I don't believe I've allowed one yet setting in here that didn't have city water and sewer and paved roads. Services, fire and law. We have not talked to those people. I assume you haven't talked to them either. We need to ask them what their feelings on it are. Can they cover that area with that fire department that's up there on 43? Can the police get out there? Because you're talking right at the edge of the county. And there's no auxiliary station at the fire department or anywhere else nearby. These are things you're going to have to take into account before you're ever going to get me on board.
Anybody else, Planning Commission?
I would like to bring something to the members' attention. The meeting tonight, Clay Township's meeting tonight, and I can't be at the meeting, and they are doing their proposal tonight that to present, you know, on what the proposal for their budget for Clay Township is, and it's at 7 o'clock. So when Roger was here earlier, he had to get back to that meeting at 7. This meeting was at 6:30, so our people in Clay Township that takes care of our fires could not even be here to hear any of this meeting tonight. And they are the ones who will have to respond to it, which is a very difficult job on that road to get to that location.
Understood. Now, I will say one thing. Whatever we do tonight is only a recommendation to the commissioners. If we said we approve, it's subject to them approving. If we said with an unfavorable, it's up to, they could overrule us, or we could do no. So please don't think that decision rests solely on us. You know, I've often told the commissioners, this is like going to McDonald's and the old man, and I'm one of them, and drink coffee there and say, what do you think about this? I mean, that's all it is our opinion. They have the final say. So, you know, just so you know, we're not the final authority on that.
So I think you do your things tonight, if you do it tonight. When would your recommendation then go to the commissioners
That's scheduled on their meeting, which would,
I don't know that they would make their next meeting because their next meeting is actually Thursday. So it would be 2
2
weeks
weeks.
from them at the earliest.
at the earliest, be 2 weeks from there.
And we would all be notifying that that's happening? Do we have another chance to say it when they make the final decision?
You can come to a commissioners meeting and speak your piece, yes.
Is it preferred for the community to submit something in writing to the commissioners to make points of everything that was mentioned here today?
That gives you time to study it. It does for me. Now, I don't know what the commissioners would say, but to me, and I have quite a
It would be best
packet.
if we laid out all the
Right.
arguments about it.
So being the commissioner on this board, I would say yes. We'd like to have it ahead of time, and we would like it condensed into, because a lot of people have said the same thing, which I've said. If we have bullet points, that would be good, and then get them to Heather, and she can get them to us. And then honestly, this is going to have to be one of our nighttime meetings, which would be nearly a month away because nobody can be here in the middle of the day.
I recommend the auditorium at the high school as well.
Well, we got a problem with that. We don't have any mobile recording equipment, and we have to record these. It's a state requirement now.
Do we not have a bigger building where we can have people out there that don't have to listen to YouTube? Can we not go up in the judge's chamber? Is that not allowed for a meeting that would be of this magnitude?
Do they have recording equipment up there?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so, that's why.
I think they got recording, but I don't think they have YouTube and, they can record.
Yep, no.
All right. Plan Commission, anyone else got?
Yes, sir.
Could I ask a request to you?
Sure.
Could you make a motion to the group to reject this proposal tonight?
So you calling for a vote?
Yes.
Well, I have one, with the plan, your group, would you please do as we asked and put our proposal for pass? And when it comes down to it, Clay Township was most immediately impacted, the rest of Oak County as well, but as a property owner in Clay, approach us. Have a meeting at our fire station or somewhere that we can come and talk to you directly. Maybe a little more organized or something. Tell us what you want to do. We are not hostile people. We welcome people here all the time, but we want to be included in what's happening in our community. So I would suggest that whatever this comes about tonight, that you would approach Clay Township as opposed to our fine commissioners here or our council here. Tell us what you want to do and let us be involved in it, and maybe we can help with compromise.
So do you need to close the public hearing first?
I'm going to close the,
I believe that we were trying to do the process they told us we're supposed to do. The first thing is just to see if it's possible to zone. So this was the first step. We turned in the one map, which was kind of showing, what might be possible, but there's no need for us to go on and go on, and they just said, no, we're not going to
Well,
zone.
is the zoning step one?
Yeah.
Is it in by law, is that step one?
Yes.
Because that's an awful slippery slope. Once you change the zoning on there. Exactly.
But then it still has to go in, and all the issues that you're concerned about have to be addressed.
Right, but it's proper project planning to attend to the community first.
So if you guys are just in the first step, why are you guys already logging and everything back there?
We done logging on that property 2 years ago.
okay.
I call for a vote.
Call for a vote. Do you have a motion?
My motion is to reject this rezone.
Is there a second?
I'll
For
second.
the reasons that I stated. Go.
I need to recuse myself from voting on this rezone because my husband,
Did the survey?
yes.
Okay.
Can we have a roll call vote so we know who votes?
I seconded.
It's been properly moved and seconded, and we'll vote by a show of hands. I think that would, that we give an unfavorable report to the commissioners. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Motion by Norm, second by
Donna.
Donna, thank you. Lost the name there. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand.
In favor of rejecting.
In favor of rejecting it.
Thank you.
Kind of let the room clear just a minute, and we'll move to the UDO.
I called him about this because my business happened this and this happened ours. And when I started out there, like that, I didn't know about it. So we're just making a lot of information But I don't do Facebook, and it comes out once a month. I don't know that it was in the paper, was it in the paper?
Let's come back to order. The next item of business is the UDO, the public hearing on it. Let me tell you before we start, so we don't have 10,000 people speaking against it. We voted last month 7-0 to do it unfavorable. We didn't do it proper as far as advertising.
That's not accurate.
7-1, excuse me, 7-1. So unless a bunch of people change their mind, you know, I mean, they do have that right, but let me go through this legal maneuvering. And if they could quiet down out there. Pursuant to IC 36-7-604, before a plan commission certifies proposal to the legislative body, the plan commission must hold a public hearing. The plan commission shall give notice of hearing by publication under IC 5-3-1. That notice must state the time and place of the hearing and the geographic area that is subject to the zone map change. This does not require the identification of real property by meets and bounds. A description of the proposed change in the zone maps, the place where a copy of the proposal is on file for examination before the hearing, the written objections to the proposal that are filed with the Secretary of the Commission before the hearing will be considered. The oral comments concerning the proposal will be heard. That the hearing may be continued from time to time as may be found necessary. Due notice to interested parties. The Plan Commission shall provide for due notice to interested parties at least 10 days before the date of the hearing. Owners of the real property to a depth of the two ownerships must receive notice. The hearing must be held by the Plan Commission at the place stated in the notice. The files of the Plan Commission concerning proposals are public record and shall be kept available at the Commission's office for the inspection of any interested person. Pursuant to IC 36-7-4-605, a proposal may be certified with one favorable recommendation, a favorable recommendation, 2 an unfavorable recommendation, or 3 no recommendation. The legislative body shall consider the recommendations, if any, the Plan Commission before acting on the proposal. So we are now having a hearing on the UDO. John stepped outside. He's on the list to speak. So, Dora Brown. You got 3 minutes.
Okay, I was here last year when we discussed the UDO. I think I was at every meeting and I expressed my concerns about the UDO and the improper layout of everything they had. We were majority opposed to it, and I mean, it seemed to go nowhere. So I just really want to say that I am still very much opposed to accepting this UDO until it gets rewritten, and rewritten by the right individuals, because these individuals that are going to rewrite it need to know the verbiage that we need, and we need to do our due diligence about investigation on all the proper individuals, the fire departments, the water department, everybody that's going to have an impact on this UDO correctly, because we here in Owen County want our county to be prosperous and to grow with the right design. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Kevin Wright.
I just had a question. I didn't know if any of you could answer or not. Is Owen County under any kind of pressure from the state or other organizations to have a UDO in the first place? Would we be out of line for not having one?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
We currently have ordinances in place.
Yes.
This was supposed to update them.
Okay.
It went overboard.
So all it was an update.
And, you know, much like the one we just saw, you know where I'm at because I voted unfavorable last time and I haven't changed my mind.
Yeah.
So we can talk about it all night. I'm not changing my mind.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good. We tried a committee. I'm sorry, Bill, but we tried to put a committee together. The committee got nowhere and Bill was the chair. We discussed it. He said, man, we're stuck in the weeds. We're not getting anywhere. And we called it back, and at that point, it's like, let's get this stopped, so we don't have to continue to worry about it. And then maybe we can use chunks of it to update the ones we already have, which is what most of the people wanted. I mean, there was 300-400 people at the high school back before we had to worry about recording. No one was for it. There was like maybe one or two. The thing is, it has to be something that suits Owen County. That, as written right now, does not do that. And the only reason we're having this meeting again tonight is because Norm forgot to say public hearing before we ever started. Or this would be done now. I mean, that's just the fact.
Now, I will tell you, I chaired the committee that's going to do changes, and I found out that although this group that come in and wrote this had open meetings, but they were during the day whenever nobody who worked for a living could show up. And the people who were on the committee, the average attendance was 40% attendance rate. But if we as a plan commission have a meeting, we have to advertise, we have to record it, we want to have it during hours people can be here, which means we got to pay the deputy sheriff that does security, and all of a sudden, we have no budget for any of that. And my thought was, it's like if you've ever had a bad term paper, sometimes it's easier just to rip it up and start all over again.
Yes.
And I tell you, in our existing codes, we have some problems. And there are things that, as I've looked at it, say, we need to clean that up. And that's the thing, that once we get this thing laid to rest and buried, and then we're going to start saying, let's work on fixing the problems we know we've got.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
John, I called you once, but you were outside, so you were top of the list.
Okay, I would like to disagree with what Norm just said. I'm one of the 15 original members on that citizen committee. We never had any support from the county. Of course, last fall, we had one set of commissioners, one council. Then it comes January, we got another set of commissioners and some different council. The citizen committee has never been given the opportunity to talk to the people to see what they like and dislike. There are things that can be deleted. I want to point out that the second UDO write-up that was received in October came about because the consultant had the open house, she listened to the citizens, and she changed the UDO. And we don't have to call it a UDO. We have a zoning ordinance and we have a subdivision ordinance which is all a UDO, United Development, whatever. Okay? And it's going to be an ordinance by the county. It's not an ordinance in and of itself. It's not created by Monroe County or any other government entity. It's governed by us. And there are good points in it. And you can throw all that away if you want, and then cabbage copy, but you still, as long as you pay the consultant her full price, I don't care what the county does in that reference. But you have to let the people talk in one point or another, whether it's now, whether it's later. So that's up to you. Thank you.
Linda Saab.
Thank you. I was at that meeting at the high school. Is it, okay, is this better? Okay, I was at the high school and, went through all of that. And so I'm just, my thoughts on this, so we haven't heard anything in a year. And he says they've made some progress on it. I agree with you, scrap it and start over again. Because reading all 240 pages of that thing, it might suit Spencer or another town for their development, but Owen County is primarily agricultural. And if you try to put that stuff out in the county and make us comply just because somebody doesn't like the old guy's farm equipment sitting in the field, it really needs to be a town ordinance and not a county ordinance. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Andrew Henry.
Hi. I also volunteered for the Citizens Committee. I came to that first meeting in the school gym and spent most of that evening running the mic back and forth between Barron and Pam. I don't know whether I'm more in favor of scrapping it and starting completely over or cutting it by 95% and trying to get whatever value there is out of something. One question that I have seen raised, and I don't have a clear answer to, is have we already fully paid the consultant? And is there still an open question whether there was some breach of contract by the consultant? If there was, is there any way for us to make sure we don't continue to spend more money paying for this UDO draft that we clearly don't want in its entirety? Does anybody know for sure?
I do not know if RE, because that was paid by 2 units.
Okay.
And
I'm under the impression the RDC hasn't paid the $43,500 portion of their part of it until we are done with it.
And I asked the lady, I said, help
Which
us.
lady?
The lady was in charge of writing it, the consultant. And her response to me was, I've done all I'm doing. You either take this, I'm done.
Okay.
And, now she's telling Marcy something different, but that's not what she told me on the phone.
Telling me something different too. Thank
Yeah. But also the night we were up here in the courthouse, in the foyer, and they kind of rolled this thing out, I stood there and listened, and someone would talk to her, well, what about this? And she'd give them an answer, and 10 minutes later, someone would come by and ask the same question, and they got a different answer.
I'm assuming you have that in an email, because that would be really handy to have, to say, hey, look, they did not finish their job.
It was all verbal.
Well, there you go.
But that's up to RECP, the Redevelopment Commission is the one that's holding that money.
Okay, and the exact amount of money in question is what?
It's $43,500.
Council paid half of the $87,000, and RDC is responsible for the other half.
I'm definitely in favor of us not paying the second half if there's a way for us to not pay the second half. And then the second question is, if you guys give an unfavorable recommendation, and for some reason the commissioners approve the UDO, what is the process for amending it later?
Commissioners can change the ordinances pretty much at will, correct? Number 2 is you people need to get him out of office.
I'm sure there would be
If that
a
were to
significant
happen,
amount of
just
pushback
for
if that
an-
happened. Right, that's all I have. Thank you.
I have a question. So am I understanding that this UDO proposal is going to go back to the commissioners?
Yes.
To either vote or not vote on it? Okay, so my second question is, do we do the same thing as I proposed earlier, is put something in writing and get a lot of signatures and say, we do not want this? Will that help?
Like I said before, if you could give us something consolidated, that makes it a lot easier. You know where I stand, and I'm one of the three. And I think I know where the other two stand, but I'm not going to speak for them. One thing I will say, because everybody talks about scrapping it and throwing it away, we can stop it, and we can utilize it as our starting point on rewriting the ordinances we got. We're going to use the thing. We're just not going to use counting heads of chickens and how many goats you can have, because that doesn't suit our environment here. It just doesn't.
Association thing.
What's that?
We don't need a homeowners association.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, yes, if you wanted to consolidate stuff, we'd be more than happy. And John, I hear you, but I'm just telling you that we were stuck in the mud. Regardless of whether they would,
The commissioners and the board never supported the citizen committee that we could have answered all this in her contract, okay? She's supposed to have 2 more hearings. If she had been at the hearing in September, she could have answered probably 50% or more of the questions, but she wasn't there.
Right.
I agree with you. That's what I
Why
said.
wasn't she there?
I don't know.
And does that constitute breach of contract?
Exactly. No,
That's-
if you don't give a person a chance to do their job, the county's not giving the lady a chance to do her job.
Well, she told,
Not giving her.
But she told us, I said there's changes we need to
she wasn't going to do
make.
anymore, and she told you something else.
She told me something else.
Right, and she's
So
telling
you
Marcy
gotta
something
sit
else.
down with the commissioners, with the council, and get to a bottom with RDC there to make sure they're going to pay her at some point.
Yeah, well, I know Sam's had conversations with her. I wasn't privy to those conversations, but he's a commissioner, and that will be taken up in that
And
meeting.
when she said she didn't want to be a part of it, what she heard was there was 30 new members on a committee. That overwhelmed her. And I told her, there's only 15 primary, 15 secondary.
Right.
And all that showed up was probably 10 or 15.
I just want to add, if anybody is going to submit any information further, or like you were asking about those questions, those types of things actually need to go to the auditor's office if it's going to be heard at a commissioner's meeting.
Right, I'm sorry.
They keep
Yep.
control of
You
that.
need to send to the auditor's office, wherever you send that consolidated list.
Last year, there was paperwork, as I think Suzanne got email addresses for everybody that came to speak
Yes.
against us. Can those
Do you,
email addresses be shared?
do
Because
you
I
still have
to
that?
send something out.
I don't currently have access, but I can work with IT and see
Okay,
about
because
getting
we
that
did collect emails out here.
You mean like all the people that attended the high school?
No, just the one out here is where we collected emails. I don't think we collected them at the high school. There's
We
too,
got all the signatures at the high school, but
we got all the emails at the high school.
we got the signatures of all the people.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Well,
not
I-
email address.
how would we find their email addresses though? I mean, we
Well, it's
get,
hard to look them up once you got their name.
I'd like to be able to attach that to whatever I'm going to put together.
Yeah.
I mean, someone else can put something else together. I'm just saying, I want to do something.
Yep.
Okay, let's get back to the hearing. Mike? I mispronounced your name last time, so I'm not just...
You can call me Mike in any 4-letter word. but
Okay.
People here probably have some good word.
I'm sorry.
So, sorry. Mike Seawert. I would have loved to have been to last year's battle for the UDO, but I decided to have a knee get replaced, and I was drugged up during the time. And you think I'm ornery now, it would be worse then. So I've got a challenge to the group. I'd love to see a unanimous proposal from everyone rejecting this. 2, if you've got, not to point, but just to confirm, if you've got things you like about it that you think should be in it, maybe we should form a committee of interested citizens to go over some of these things to make this Monroe County-like thing much more Owen County-like. That's one of the reasons why I live here and not Monroe County. So that's one issue. But again, the main thing is shoot this puppy down, pull the best out of it, and make something we can all be proud of. And I'd love to hear your 2 cents on it. But to support all of us, I'd love again to see a unanimous decision from you all instead of a 7-1, because this is an abomination for Owen County. We paid a lot of money for it. We might as well strip some good parts out of it, but put this thing to rest and let's something from the ashes, Phoenix, whatever you want to call it. Let's start something better, because we just went through something with this rezoning. We don't want to be happening all over the county. So use it as learning. That's all I got.
I'll tell you exactly why I'm not going to vote to send it to commissioner, just like I did in the last times, because number one, I don't like the idea of flushing $87,000 down the toilet. Number two, everybody on this planning commission, except for Daniel, promised to get the public's opinion and the public involved in rewriting our ordinances. I'm not going to break my promise that I made then today. I like you a lot, Norm. I think the world will be honest, and I'll tell the whole world that. I don't want 3 commissioners rewriting our ordinances. I want the public involved in rewriting our ordinances. And I don't want 3 commissioners and a county attorney rewriting our ordinances. The county attorney doesn't even live in this county. How much are we paying him an hour, Norm? I've been told $300 to $350 an hour. I believe you said that at the last planning commission meeting when you were chastising Pam for talking too much. Does anybody want to pay our county attorney $350 an hour to rewrite our ordinances? We had 30 citizens volunteer to do it for free. And now we're sitting here talking about throwing it out the window. With $87,000 of your money going out the drain. That's why I'm going to vote against sending it to the commissioners, because I believe we should do what we said we would do a year ago. Well, Bill, at the school meeting at the elementary school, you said that Commissioner Burton would not facilitate the Citizens Committee.
Right.
Why do the citizens need to be at the courthouse for a meeting, and why do we need to advertise those meetings?
Because that's what the state law is.
Can you show me that state law?
That's what I was told by the former attorney.
Okay, well, I don't believe that a citizens committee of only citizens needs to have any type of formal meeting to do that. They could do it on their couch at home and rewrite this UDO, email each other and say, this is what we want to do, guys. And then they can bring it right here to the planning commission and say, here's what we've done. Now, what do you think? And then we can say, yeah, that's great, or no, we don't like this. And we can do it like we said we would do and go through it one chapter at a time and rewrite it. Now, I know I'm the minority of, nobody here wants this UDO. And I don't want it either. Me and you, John, we're in there together, brother. But no, I don't like what was written, but I definitely don't like wasting our money, and I don't like lying to the public, and I don't like the idea of 3 commissioners writing our ordinances. I think that the community should do that.
I had a talk with a commissioner today. He felt that he didn't like what had happened because the citizens were not involved in the first process. They should have been a part of what started back in 2023. They shouldn't have been waiting until September to start something. But at least we started something in September with the citizen committee to talk to all the citizens. One prime example, friends of mine, they were looking, and I went to do my job as a citizen to find out what the citizens wanted. They thought that they were looking in the code book saying, what subdivision type are we? I said, none of them. You're zoned whatever you are right now.
All right.
People don't understand what it is.
Don't get me started on that. But, I mean, that's my take on it. I don't like the idea of only 3 commissioners and a county attorney rewriting our ordinances. Will there be any community involvement if we go forward, get rid of this thing?
Dan wants community involvement.
I've heard that for 7 months, but here we are with our community action committee being shut down because no cooperation from commissioners. That was my next question. After Burton left.
Dan wants to cooperate in some fashion. He may just want to dump the whole thing because of all the arguing. And that's okay, but I don't like wasting 80-some thousand on my tax dollars.
Absolutely not. It seems to me like the community group was sabotaged from the get-go. It was like, hey, we're going to set this up, we're going to blow yeah, we're going to say we're going to do this, and then we're not going to do it. And then everybody shut up, everybody went home, and guess what? Here we are a year later, and this is going to go to, we don't even have the document we're really sending to the commissioners. What document are we actually sending to the commissioners?
That 240?
The original document with no changes that the people that were involved helped to rewrite. This is just for clarity's sake.
Other than the edits that she made.
Other than the edits that she made.
Spoke to the people. Those have been done.
I don't think a lot of us have the edits that she did, because I don't have one.
That's in the revised one that she submitted in October.
Yeah.
It's online.
Online?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Brad Salisbury?
Hello, my name's Brad Salisbury. I, as well, was part of the original Citizens Committee formed at the high school that day, and we did have a chance, Dora and John and such, to meet a couple times, and we had a good conversation. I felt good. We were going to make some progress, and I agree it was sabotaged and just kind of pulled out from under us. I stand 100% opposed to the UDO as it is presented. It's 240 pages of bullcrap. I could condense it down to 4 pages and still have reasonable zoning and stuff in this county. I sit here today as not just a citizen, but as the newly appointed Jackson Township trustee after my friend Baron Barnett passed away. So I look forward to working with the community. I don't want to see this passed. I don't want to see the commissioners rewrite it. I'd like to see the community involved, but I agree with Mr. Van Raan. If the commissioners do pass it, remember my name, because I'm coming for your seat. That's all I have to say. Don't pass the UDO as it stands.
What I did ask her to do, and she refused to do, is I said, if you would lay out what our existing code is, this is what the rules we have now, this is what your proposal is, and this is what the state minimums are. Okay, first thing is, we can't do anything lesser than what the state. So let's include that what our things have at least meet the state minimum requirements. Then we start looking at, we found one, and I won't mention here because someone will run out and use it against us, because we have some badly worded things. And something that Heather asked me, how do you read this? I said, I interpreted it this way. She said, so do I. But I don't think that's what it meant.
Right, it's very ambiguous.
And, I won't go into what that is, because if not, somebody else sees it and say, oh, because that's the first thing we need to change. We need to clean up that language on some of these things. But that's whenever she said, I'm not doing that. I've done my job. Your job is to pass this. And Plan Commission, is there a motion?
Make sure if anyone out there wanted first, just to cover that.
Chad, to make sure I understood.
Is there anybody out here who would like to speak on the UDO?
You want to not pass it to the commissioners at all at this
I
point?
think it needs to stay in the BC's lap. We need to get the committee running properly.
Okay.
Maybe that means we need to figure out what that actually means.
But you want to hold it at this level?
We need to know exactly what we're even trying to do, apparently, because what we tried to do definitely didn't work.
I have a question. What are the commissioners going to be looking for though? We can say hold it, but if they're wanting it on their agenda, are they going to pass it without it being reformed or anything?
I don't think they're in any hurry.
I don't think they are either.
I understand.
Speaking myself in the third person, I'm not in a hurry.
There's Sam.
From the newspaper from last September. There is no hurry. There has never been any hurry.
Sam.
Said when I was talking to them in the law, we're going to go through it page by page. And I don't really disagree with that. 12 people have already been through it page by page. But the citizens need to be heard. There's no sense wasting $80-some thousand. She also has included in her contract training. I think we desperately need training on how to do things.
Sam, you got anything to say?
Yeah, I'm the same all the commissioners, unfortunately. I hope people can breathe a little easier tonight. I've met with John today, and first of all, I want to go back up just a little bit.
Can Sam be on the microphone so you can get this report, please?
Here, have my seat.
Oh, no.
No, come on. It's a good warm one.
Sit beside chair, brother. I need to back up the boat just a little bit. First of all, I'm going to have to stand up for the current commissioners. We had nothing to do with this. And I know people think, well, what's that got to do with anything? It's got a lot to do with it. We didn't organize this, we didn't draft it up, and we didn't fund it. Okay, so the current Board of Commissioners had nothing to do with it, but it's going to fall in our lap. Because I've heard from this side and this side that show up to the meeting because the commissioners are going to sneak it through on Thursday. I hope you bring it to us on Thursday. Bring the UDO. You're going to vote on it tonight, I'm assuming. It's still going to fall in the purview of the commissioners. I've talked to a lot of people about this. How many of you have read the new second draft of the UDO? How many of you is even aware there is a second draft? Okay. I'm not saying that's part of the problem, but it's part of the problem. Now, the first draft that came out was 245 pages long, and you might as well took the first 200 pages of it and shoved it in the toilet. Okay. There was $88,000 spent of taxpayers' money. Okay, it's been, or half of it's been spent. I believe half of it's still in pending. There are some good things in the UDO. Some good things.
Good purpose.
What?
It's a good purpose.
Yeah, there's some good things. The county commissioners have their own ordinances. We have our own ordinances. I am not in favor of a UDO ordinance. It's just a document. That's all it is. I think the public, like John said, the public, there's been, I don't know how many, a couple committees that looked through this UDO thing. There's 10 chapters in it. I have no idea what happened in those meetings. Nothing has ever been brought before the current Board of Commissioners about the UDO. My take on this is the public, I'm talking to taxpayers, need to look at the current new document. And if there's anything in that document that pertains to Owen County, is good and beneficial to Owen County, take it out of the UDO, set it over here, flush the rest up down toilet, and then let the public decide what's good in the UDO. Is that fair so far?
I got a question.
Yep.
Bill, the commissioners won't facilitate the current community, citizens committee we have, correct?
That's what I was told.
Okay, and I appreciate you bringing that up because I understand the post that I don't.
What you're asking for, we've already got. We have a citizens committee, we're just getting nowhere because for whatever reason, Bill thinks that.
Well, we were told by
whatever reason,
Jim Bryan, who was our
Bryan
former
said
attorney,
that.
that we had to have a public hearing, had to record it. If we're going to have it for the citizens, it's going to be, have to be after hours.
You're gonna have to do the
And we
same
were
thing.
told you'll have to pay for the deputy sheriff.
You're talking about getting the citizens involved in refusing the UDO to rewrite our new order.
We're not rewriting. No, unions have a committee.
Yeah, but we can't get anywhere with it because no funding.
Our hands were tied from meeting because we weren't meeting advertising, we have no budget, paying for a deputy. If we have a meeting at night,
Yes.
we have no money for that in our budget, so therefore we couldn't meet
Okay, so.
legally.
But, and I don't want to get in a crappy match with you because I understand where you're coming from. But let me make this clear. And I'm going to defend myself, but I like we've always been friends. I went and asked the chief of security because a gentleman asked me on the first floor of the courthouse, Sam, do you think it'd be a good idea to have the UDO meetings in this courtroom? And I answered yes to your question. I did. I said, I have to go to the chief of security. I went to him, and he went to his boss, which is the sheriff. And the sheriff said he did not have the budget to be able to come have deputies here at this meeting. You can't have open public meetings in courthouse without law enforcement.
Right.
That is not the commissioner's problem.
Right. But it's that committee's problem.
Yeah.
So I volunteered for that committee, and it has never been made clear, we're not sworn, we're not elected.
No.
Why are we obligated, if we are advising on the UDO, to meet in a public building, have security, record our meeting? Can we not simply meet as an advisory committee and then provide a draft document and not have to jump through any of those hoops? Because without those hoops, we could actually meet in small groups whenever we want, assign chapters, break it up, and actually do something.
You can meet, and I understand where you're going from. I'm talking strictly about the courthouse. That's it. I was only asked about meeting here in the court, and I told the gentleman, I think it's a good idea that they can meet here. Open up the commissioner's room, but the sheriff didn't have the budget. Well, we cannot have public meetings in the courthouse without security.
That clarification of whether or not it is a public meeting, the first meeting this committee had was in the elementary school gym.
Right.
And it wasn't a committee meeting in any meaningful sense of the word. It was a public meeting with public comment, and committee members were there with no ability to do anything except make more public comment.
Well, let me address that. So the first two meetings you had were joint meetings with this body.
Okay, and
And
that's
the reason
reason
we did that is because we wanted to get it kick-started and moving.
Got
What
it.
happened was when we stopped having the joint meetings, because we do have an agenda to address,
Right.
and it went out on its own, so to speak.
Then it just
Somebody
fizzled out.
pulled the plug on the, or what, however you want to look at it. And I didn't talk to Jim about it, apparently you did.
I did.
I was told secondhand that we can't do that because we have to follow all the rules that we have when we have a meeting. So.
Dan and her was
Yeah, he was.
Was it Dana? Okay.
Dana.
Whoever the lawyer
Yeah.
was at the time.
Okay.
So, and I don't know what committees are what and stuff, or who's great, and I'm not here opposing nobody. I like Chad, me and him been friends for a long time. Here's my answer to this solution, or my take on it, because here's how it's coming to the commissioners. Whether they bring it this Thursday or the September meeting, it doesn't make any difference to us commissioners. The public that's involved in looking over the UDO chapters, I guess there's 10 chapters.
Correct.
I don't know how far they got along with that. I have no idea. Okay? So I don't know if that's still continuing, or if that's fell by the wayside, but if there is some good things in the UDO that would help the people of Owen County, okay, fine. Take it out of the UDO, and we can put it in our own county ordinances. We already have county ordinances. I don't need something labeled, just my personal opinion.
Right.
No harm, no foul against anybody. I don't need something labeled UDO.
I agree.
I say we just, whoever is on this committee or the people out in the public, look at there's a second draft.
And the exact mechanism, if we found one or two pieces of gold, and there was 240 pages, and we wanted to incorporate them, the commissioners would then directly rewrite them into the current ordinances?
Into our current ordinances. Not on something that is labeled UDO. It's not, that's got a lot of people in turmoil, upset, because, and we could end that pretty quick. Take what the public sees as vital importance of Owen County. Take it out. Bring it to us so we can look at it. We are not, I'm one commissioner, we are not going to support the UDO as written. If there's some good things that the public would like to see out of that UDO brought to the commissioners that we can have wrote into the county ordinances, and it's the public's best interest and their perception on it, not just 3 sitting commissioners are going to make a decision. It's not going to happen. 3 commissioners are not going to make a decision of 22,000 people in this county. But if you just bring something to us out of that UDO that says, this is good, we're going to look at it, we'll have meetings, and we'll talk to the public about it to make sure that's exactly what they want before we adopt anything into the county ordinances.
And you would like to see the current UDO draft sent from this commission to the commissioners to be voted down, so UDO is dead, and then at that point cherry pick anything that we want and provide it to you as a recommendation to be put into ordinances later, but that would get the UDO question off the table.
I think I follow what you're saying there. Yeah, the UDO's dead.
Does that sound right? Does that sound right?
Got a question back here. Yeah, question back here.
So on page 5 of the Indiana Open Door meeting input, it says advisory committee has to have records. So according to page 5, you have to look deeper. If we're going to do this, it's got to be an open record.
And it's got to be advertised. And again, we
Everything that applies.
don't have any budget
One
money
do-over.
for that advertisement.
And do-overs aren't fun.
So if it is officially an advisory committee in the future, it would have to be
It
open
has to
door.
be an open door.
But anybody can provide any feedback and input and draft documents they want at any point. So any self-selected group can do that and provide it.
Is this a give and take situation at the same time? So is it vote down the UDO, here's what we're suggesting, or is it vote down the UDO and the next time, this is what we're suggesting?
Well, and I'm just talking for myself as one commissioner, okay? I'm not supporting the UDO.
Okay, but I mean, you said, I don't know what your name is in orange shirt, but you said, oh, you know, kill the UDO, and here's our suggestions. Is this gonna be at the same time? Or is we're gonna kill the UDO, and at a later time, we're gonna offer what we want, the cherry pick?
Yeah, I mean, and personally, in my opinion, just my opinion only, I don't think this is gonna, you know, they're gonna vote on it tonight. I'm assuming you're gonna vote on the UDO.
Situation is what he said. Yes.
So it's a time thing, you know what I mean? If they vote the UDO down tonight and it comes before the Board of Commissioners, I don't know if it's gonna come on Thursday or the meeting in 1st of September. We're not gonna support the UDO. But I do want the people to understand that in that UDO, there are a few good things that the county may need.
You're going to expect something in return.
I want something from the public.
Can we form a committee?
That's not,
Committee already. We have a committee. Yeah. We have a committee already. We have a committee already.
If we try to do what Sam is suggesting, and we as a board say, you know, let's take it, what you guys want to do, and then take the UDO out, let us make a decision to send stuff to Sam and the commissioners to where they can better understand it.
nothing has been brought to us, not one thing.
No, I'm saying if we
Yeah,
did
I
it,
know.
we did it tonight.
Yeah, I just want to know that
voted on it, yeah.
this current Board of Commissioners, nothing has been brought to us.
Yeah.
And
Does that UDO also redistrict, Dan?
What's that?
Has it got anything to do with redistricting the county?
No, there's no rezoning.
Nothing.
that has nothing to do with your rezoning and your subdivisions and stuff. It's just it is simply just another living ordinance. It's just a different document in an ordinance type form. Do you agree with that? Is that a fair statement? I don't see any reason why the people of Owen County, whatever committee that there may be, may not be, there's been 2 or 3 committees. There's no reason that the people of Owen County cannot look at things and say, this is what's good for Owen County. You know, all I heard about the UDO was the chickens.
I heard about the cows, the goats, and all that.
And I heard, and you know, those type of things caught people's attention, rightfully so, and I totally understand. We live in Owen County because we love Owen County. But there is rules and regulations for the county commissioners that have to adapt to the IC code for the state. We have no choice. We have to follow those codes, okay? certain ordinances have to meet IC standards, okay? But a lot of the other stuff that was in the UDO was just fluff that didn't pertain. But there is a few things in the UDO that the public themselves, everybody here is public, can pick out and say, you know, I think this would be a good thing to establish in the county's own ordinance book, not a UDO. It's not going to happen. It's not going to fly. It's not my, yeah, I'm done.
One more question. And just for the sake of clarity, regardless if this UDO goes anywhere, or goes to the commissioners and they give an unfavorable recommendation, we don't accept it. Either way, we're going to have our ordinances rewritten because some of the things need to be updated, correct?
Oh, I agree with you.
How much more money are we going to spend to do that?
Well, I don't know. We'll just have to ask the council. We'll have to find out what it's going to cost for us to rewrite some of our ordinance.
Without a doubt, we're going to spend more money on top of what we've already.
With, you know, in the chat, I understand you've got $88,000 of taxpayers' money. Half of it's been paid to a UDO thing. Okay? The lady did exactly what she said she was going to do. She did. Okay. She did. Hang on. But she's not finished. Okay? We could back this bus way up, and I don't want to, but we could back this bus up to the former commissioners who presented this to the county council, who asked the county council, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, to fund the whole entire thing. And they said no, so they tabled it. So it went to the RDC, Redevelopment Commission. And the RDC in favor said that they would fund half of it if the county council would fund the other half. That's how you come up with the $88,000. Half of it's been paid. RDC at this point has refused to pay any more because they don't think that the project is finished in its entirety, and I'll agree with them 100%. I think there's other things that need to be looked at. My stand on it is, yeah, we've got $88,000 in this of taxpayers' money. Let's try to salvage out of that what is called now the UDO. Let's salvage out of that what is good for the county. Only what is good. Flush the rest of it down toward it, tear it down, burn it away, because it's just on a piece of paper. It's nothing legal, nothing binding. Yes.
It becomes legal when someone is objecting to something in that ordinance and it goes to law. Then they have a document that says, you have it in your county and we're going to follow that. So the UDO may not, as it stands, it's horrible. Because I don't think the lady looked at Owen County and the way we like to live. She was probably looking at some other county somewhere else. Because it's not definitely Owen County or we wouldn't have so many objections.
If you go back to the original document, I'm not here to throw, I love you, is all I do. I'm not here to fuss or argue with nobody, or the lady that wrote the document. It's copy and paste. And they didn't even have Owen County listed as the county is represented. I had a problem with that, and I still have a problem with that. And, okay, this is, to me, this is a fairly easy solution. We've got $80,000 wrapped up, or $45,000 already spent in this. I understand where Chad's coming from. We won't have to spend money to codify the county ordinances. Some of them's older than I am. Some of them need to be changed and updated because things change in the county. You know, that's the reason we have an attorney. And if he tells us it's going to cost us this amount of money to codify the ordinances, then we'll go to the council and say this is how much money we need to bring the ordinances up to speed. The folks bringing the ordinances up to speed, that's the commissioner's decision to do. But rest assured one thing, it's the public's input. That's what we're trying to do. We want the public input.
I think Bill had a great point. Look at what we have, what's proposed, IC minimums. Make that work. That's the committee. I think that's the ultimate goal here.
Yeah.
And we haven't wasted our $87,000 necessarily. We're still, we wasted $50,000. It's been a waste. Unfortunately, it's gone. We've lost money in worse fashion before. It doesn't excuse it, but it's where we're at.
And I think bringing the IC codes up to standard for the county, it's a must, and that's in there. So we have to do that anyway. And so, I mean, that's not wasted. That is good, because we have to do it anyway. And I still think there's a few things in the UDO that the public need to look at as a whole and say, you know, this is good. Maybe we can have some saving face on some of the money that's been spent. Maybe not all of it, but, you know, it's everybody, you know, it can be the blame game. You know, everybody wants to point fingers and stuff like that. I've heard it all. And, you know, I got broad shoulders, but I'm going to stand up for myself, because this is not the current sitting Board of Commissioners' decision that to get it drafted up. It'll be our decision what happens when it comes to us after the Plan Commission, and that's okay. But I think we need to take a hard look at what's in that UDO, and whatever committee there is or going to be, or whoever's going to oversee that. If you find good things in that, bring it to the commissioners, whether it's one thing at a time or a page of stuff at a time. Bring it to us. We'll look at it, and then we'll take it right back to the public to make sure that, oh, yeah, this is a good idea for Owen County.
This is like a motion to me.
Anyway, that's you for me, or just going back to them. I'm done. This is not even my meeting.
So I was part of the committee, and through some emails that came to my attention, on the government website here in Owen County, I've been looking ahead. The last line mentions supporting ongoing UDO implementation. The way that sounds like it's been decided that you are going to pass UDO, or you guys can explain what's going on. I can show you here on.
I've read it too.
Okay.
I think you know where I stand on it.
Yeah, it's just, I'm kind of odd.
I didn't write it.
As far as the webpage updates go, I think some of those were just standardized updates, and we are still working on updating and changing some of the things that are on the web pages. It's kind of a process that's evolving right now, currently, every day. Things get changed or updated, moved around, and I think that was something that just was kind of an automatic write-in that still needs some adjustment. But it's just in the web page transition that just...
One of the things, and I don't remember who wrote, but someone said they're going to try to pass that through. Well, I don't think you've heard anybody here say, pass this. I mean, you know, nobody.
Social media says, don't listen to social media.
But, and Sam's probably went outside now, but again, if we have a meeting with that committee, we've got to advertise it, we got to do all those things. And that's, in a county that's short of funds, that becomes an issue, you know.
Bill, unless you've got somebody else that wants to speak, I would call for a vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm confused because I thought there was only, there was only one UDO. From the last meeting, has it changed when we held it at the school?
No, it's back in December.
Okay, I read it then.
I'm sorry, can I just have your name?
Leslie Forster.
Leslie?
Leslie, L-E-S-L-I, Forster, F-O-R-R-E-S.
Thank you.
I forgot what I was saying. Okay, I read a part in the UDO, so if you was to pass it, you would be breaking the Fifth Amendment. On the sidewalks, you're taking land from people, and you're even in this UDO telling that the landowner has to pay for the sidewalk itself to be laid down and then maintained and everything. Now, the Fifth Amendment says that I brought it up then, I'm bringing it up again. I don't have it in front of me.
We have no sidewalks in the county at all.
The UDO has a section in it that talks about sidewalks.
Yeah, but we have no sidewalks, and the only place you have sidewalks is in Spencer, and that's not under the UDO or Gosport.
Oh, okay.
And that's not under the UDO.
Well, why does the UDO have it in there then?
Why does it have...
But this is the point. If you pass it, I will be responsible for putting in a sidewalk then, because it's in there. Once it's passed, it's never going to go away, ever again. And it's unconstitutional because you're taking property from people. Then you're forcing them to pay for public property. So either the people own the sidewalk or the government owns the sidewalk. And, you know, So if you pass it, then just know you're breaking the Fifth Amendment, and I assume you guys all
I
took
don't
oaths
think
to
you've heard what
uphold
we've
the
said here. I
Constitution.
don't think there's going to be a pass,
Right, I just want you to know that you're
Right.
breaking the Constitution if you pass it.
but I would argue that because the town has that. The town has that ordinance, and they take their
Right, I
side.
just know that I read that in the UDO, and when you pass the UDO, you're passing that. So I just
Yeah.
wanted that pointed out.
I'll be quick, I don't want to beat a dead horse here. My name's Jeff Broyles. I know the sting of losing money and not getting your value out of it. When my daughter was 3, she flushed 6 crisp $100 bills down my toilet. I went to the septic tank and I popped the lid. I didn't see it. I knew there was value in there, but I learned if it smells like crap and it looks like crap, it's probably crap. I didn't jump right in. Now, there was good stuff in there, and I'm sure there is, and I'm okay with trying to cherry pick a little bit. But as far as the UDO goes, I just thought I'd make myself heard.
Well, if that's the last one, then I call for a vote.
Jeff, can you, spell your last name?
P-R-O-Y-L-E-S.
Thank you.
Okay, Norm.
So my motion is that we send this back with an unfavorable recommendation from this council.
Okay, is there a second? Is there any discussion among council members?
And make a friendly amendment. Now, we also make a recommendation that the UDO committee be changed to an ordinance committee and that they continue to give input on ordinances.
That's fine.
Okay. Is there a second to the amendment?
I'll second that.
Okay, so we're voting on the amendment first of adding that. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say
How are
aye.
they going to get anything more accomplished in the future than they already have in the last year?
We're going to have to figure out a way, if we have to go to the council and ask for money for advertisement.
I guess that leads to another question. Why don't we have a planning commission budget other than the fact that we have no money?
I don't
I mean, that's
know.
something
They never did,
Probably really.
I've never heard of one, but, since I came on, which, I don't know how many years ago it's been, but they've never seen anything but a budget.
John, you got
I'm just trying to understand the proposed amendment. I didn't hear quite all of it.
That the UDO committee basically be changed to an ordinance committee instead of UDO.
Change the name.
And still, change the name so that they can still bring information, suggestions to commissioners or planning commission or whatever.
Question is,
Still work on.
which committee? Committee that was formed in September, or the original people who viewed the ordinance? They sat down.
Was there 2 committees?
Well, there was the original writing committee.
The original
Yeah,
writing for the steering committee, yeah.
To me, the steering committee we set up in the gymnasium at the school would be the, and then the other thing that I would say, as a commissioner, what I would like to see us do, and of course, this is going to be for a commissioner meeting, but I'll say it now, I still believe that what I proposed back then will work if we took them one chapter at a time, and we brought them in, and we published them, and we set them out on the website and said, all right, this is the ordinance we're talking about today.
So therefore, the public could vote at
Right.
that time.
Well, they could show up here at the commissioners meeting
That's fine.
and say, yay, nay, or hey, you need to think about this, because this is our shot to get it right, So we just need to get it stopped. We need to cherry pick it, get the committee back together and fix this thing.
I think it's a really good idea, however, if you're gonna put it on the website that we're gonna do one chapter at a time, here's the chapter we're going to do, please submit it. I only ask that.
I want the committee to make that decision, not me.
Right, but the committee can make that, however, bring it in writing. We all get emotional when we talk because we know what we're against. And if we start talking, we're gonna be,
Well, if we do it that way, it'll be in our packet. The amended ordinance will be in the packet for everybody to have right here.
okay.
And you'll be able to read through it then. Plus, you should have time ahead of time, if it's on a website, to be able to read through it, make your notes, call the committee members, I'm sure they won't mind, and say, hey, the wording here is off, it needs to be, and, or, but, nor, whatever. Yes,
And how will we be notified when it's out there?
what's that?
How will we be notified when it's out there?
Well, I
How will
just-
you be notified when it's out there?
We have to look.
Yeah, you'll have to look, I mean,
Yeah, there's no way to.
there's no good way, yeah. There's no good way to do that.
We
but-
have
There
a,
would be a way to have an email list if someone's willing to maintain it.
We have a motion on
Email list.
we have an amendment on the floor we're voting on, we're having discussion on, we kind of got away from
So
that.
that was vote down and then do a rename, ordinance evaluation committee, or whatever you want to call that.
Yeah, it was voted on
So
in
that was the motion.
the second motion.
The current,
So we're working on an amendment to the main motion. I'm sorry, I'm an old parliamentarian, I just, so the motion is, the amendment is for them to continue working on it. The
Continue
committee,
working on ordinance suggestions, but under the name of an ordinance committee instead of the UDO.
Yeah, do away with
Okay.
the
Do
UDO.
away with UDO.
any other discussion? All those in favor of voting for the amendment, please raise your right hand. Okay, now we're voting on the main motion.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You have an abstention or you're voting against? Abstaining. Sorry. Now we're voting on the main motion as amended. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed? And abstain. Does any more public comment before we get ready to wrap this up? Any comment from commission? Oh, I'm sorry, John.
The issue of this facility being available after hours. Our community is blessed with a very good community foundation. Would it hurt anybody's pride to ask them for some funds to have the building open? That's the first part. The second part is, how much would that cost? Is that $100 a night? Is that $1,000? What would that cost be?
I will.
Then we can raise money ourselves through the community foundation or any other way that we want.
I'll try to get an answer to that question of how much.
It would be great to know that hourly rate, the
Yeah.
cost to me.
And I think there's some other sources of funds we might have.
I would just like to hope that on your website, big bold letters, you let everybody know in the community that you're changing this name so there's no misconception that you're trying to hide something.
Right.
Because people are going to say, hey, you changed the name just so you can, and there'll be rumors and they'll be all kinds of gossip.
That's gonna happen anyway.
That'll happen
Because all
anyway.
it does is stir a pot and get everybody upset.
The social media.
I hear what you're saying, but it's not happening anyway. Heather, did you get that?
yes, yeah.
All right. Plan Commission, anyone have any comments? Is there a motion to adjourn? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All want to stay here all night, same sign?
Thank you all.
Thank you. Shut it off.
Oh, mine.